to the first episode of the video version of Casting On. I started to make this podcast, audio podcast, I think 2 years ago, maybe even more. And I only did a handful of episodes and I didn't stick with it. And I think part of it was that it's difficult to talk about yarn and fiber arts without having a visual. It's such a visual craft and art form. And so I've been watching a lot more YouTube video podcasts by different knitters and yarn dyers, etc. And YouTube has been something that I've been interested in for years. I'm obsessed. I'm pretty sure I subscribe to 150 channels, maybe even more. And I just I've been thinking about doing this for a while, and I've always been like really awkward on camera, and I mean I still am, but I was just like, you know what, just go for it, try it, at least film it. If it sucks, you don't have to release it, but who knows. So welcome to the first official episode of the video podcast Casting On. I'm sorry, I can already see in the camera that like the white balance keeps shifting, and I tried to figure out that setting on my phone, and apparently with the phone that I have, you can't turn that off. It does it automatically to get the best video quality, although to me it kind of shifting between white and gray is not the best video quality. It looks kind of funky, so maybe next time I'll film on my iPad, or I'll try something, maybe I can find an app or something that I can use to film on instead. But for now, for episode 1, this is what we're working with. So, I thought I'd start with just a brief introduction, I guess, as to who I am, in case you're like, who are you? I'm Bethany. You might know me as Naughty Girl Crochet on Instagram. I'd say that's the platform I'm on the most. So I'll leave all of my social handles down in the description box, but by far the one I'm the most active on is Instagram. So I've been crocheting for probably, should have looked this up, 4 to 5 years, maybe more than 4, probably closer to 5 years. And then I learned to knit, I think around a year after that, maybe 2 years after that. But I started with crochet, and so that's why my name is Naughty Girl Crochet, because when I started that account, I could only crochet, I didn't know how to knit. Then I learned to knit, and honestly, in the past few years, I've been doing way more knitting than crochet. Like, I picked up my crochet hooks recently for the first time in probably 2 years, maybe even more, maybe even closer to 3. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I can do both. There are some things that I prefer to knit, but recently, for whatever reason, I've just had a surge of, I guess, desire to crochet. Sorry if you see me looking off to the side. We have a special guest off camera. If you follow me on Instagram, I'm sure you know her, Miss Minerva. Maybe she'll make an appearance at some point. So if you see me looking over, that's what I'm looking at. I have some yarn on the table next to me that I want to talk about, and if you follow me on Instagram, you know her favorite thing is to eat string or anything that looks like string, hence all of my yarn. And we've had several very bad vet emergencies that we've had to, rush her in because she's eaten some string. It's a whole ordeal. So I have to keep my yarn really under lock and key. Not necessarily lock and key. Lock though, because I do have a baby lock on the closet where I keep the yarn. Because she knows how to open the sliding doors and will go in there and eat all of it. So yeah. So I have to keep that locked away, and even when I'm knitting with it, she's pretty good. Unless she's in a very playful mood and it's like, I want attention, then she will go after it. Like this morning, she was content to sit on the floor while I knit for probably an hour, and then just all of a sudden she was like, nope, this is enough. You've spent enough time looking at the yarn. I want attention. So yeah. So if you see me, again, long story short, if you see me looking aside, I'm just making sure she's not eating anything she shouldn't be. So that's I guess me in a nutshell. Yeah, so I'll leave all of my social links down below if you want to go give me a follow. So what I hope to do with this, podcast is, ideally I'm thinking bi-weekly, probably gonna end up being more like every 3 to 4 weeks. We'll see what happens. Probably depends how much I get knit in a certain span of time. Because really what I want to do is kind of showcase finished objects, works in progress, and sort of any yarn related purchases that I've made. I'd also kind of like to do some product reviews, things like that, maybe some tutorials. If you guys have any suggestions of videos that you would like to see, drop that in the comments and I'll see what I can do. So I guess the first thing, to address is what I'm wearing. And this is actually the first time that I have officially worn this, even though I finished in beginning of January. This is the Pink Velvet Sweater by Andrea Mowry. This was my first ever yoke sweater and my first ever colorwork sweater. And I used feisty fibers, I believe it was pastel, for the main color. And then, I don't know if you can see it from this far away, but I used this yarn for the colorwork that I actually dyed myself. Because this year because I needed another yarn related hobby, I got into dyeing my own yarn. And I do sell some of it. I'll drop the shop link below. I really don't do big updates. I don't really do sweater quantities, things like that. I really just do, basically one-of-a-kind skeins, predominantly sock weight, because I have recently become obsessed with knitting socks, and I love the idea of knitting a unique pair of socks that, nobody else has. And also just having, one-of-a-kind skeins is great for things like this. If you want to do a colorwork yoke, you want a nice contrasting color that's something a little bit different from what others might be using. Oak skeins are a great way to do that and really make your one-of-a-kind project even more unique than it already is. So yeah, I absolutely loved knitting this. I was surprised how much fun I had knitting the yoke and how sad I was when I finished the colorwork section. I really enjoyed it. More than I thought I was going to. I was going into it being a little bit hesitant and was like, oof, you might get a couple rows in and hate it and you can scrap it. It's okay. But it worked out. And so I knit a size 1 based on her pattern. But the only thing I wish I had bought, so I'd bought 2 skeins of the main color and I wish I'd bought a third. And it's really just because, so the body fits perfect. The sleeves, I'd say, are kind of just a little bit more than 3/4 length. And it's like, if I just had even 50 more grams, I would have had enough to do full length sleeves. But it is what it is. I don't know, I might at some point, if she ever does another shop update, get another skein just to make the sleeves longer. Because I know, for me personally, I'll get more wear out of it if it's full length sleeve versus 3/4 length. But, yeah. This lighting is driving me bonkers. We're just gonna pause for a second. I'm gonna see if I close the blinds, if that helps. So, right back. Let's see how that goes. Is that still kind of wonky? It is, I think I made it worse. I may have made it worse. Boo. One more second. This is what you get with a first-time YouTube video maker. Um, I promise I will try and work with these kinks as I make more of these videos. This is my first try. I just needed to sit down and get it out. I promise it will get better as time goes on. I just needed to, rip the Band-Aid off and just go for it. Otherwise, I was never going to do it. So, I guess maybe what we should do is get into works in progress. So, the first work in progress I have for you is called the Felix Cardigan by Savory Knitting. And again, I will put all of these links down in the, garbage. I will put all of the links down below in the description box to all of these patterns and stuff and the yarn. So, I have the body knit and one sleeve, and I have not taken out my the waist yarn that holds the line stitches yet. So I'm in a bit of a pickle with this one. So this is using the new yarn by Knit Picks called High Desert, and I had the opportunity to test some of the yarn and also do a giveaway with them with Knit Picks. And when I chose which yarn I wanted to try, I didn't have a project in mind. And then once the yarn arrived, I was like, oh, I'm going to make this cardigan. I totally have enough yarn. I don't have enough yarn. So I still have a whole sleeve to do, and this is what I have left. And I'm going to try and see how far I get. But I might need to reach out and ask for one more ball. Because technically this is also supposed to have like a collar and like button band. And I mean, I tried it on and I like it, it's kind of as is with that kind of rolled hem. But like, if I get an extra ball to do the other sleeve, I may as well do the whole collar and everything. So yeah, that's the first project, but that's a little bit on hold right now just because I am frustrated with my inability to determine how much yarn I needed. And I also just hate knitting sleeves. I mean, who likes knitting sleeves? Sleeves suck. But yeah, so that's one whip that I have on the go, but it's currently in a little bit of a timeout. I might pick it up later and try and see how far I can get with that second sleeve, but we'll see how the day goes. My other works in progress are actually crochet. Like I said, for some reason lately I just had this urge to pick back up my crochet hooks. I think part of it was because I saw this pattern and I had to make it. I had to drop everything else I was making and make this. So technically it's when you purchase the pattern, it's just like a chart repeat, and you can decide how many repeats you want to do, whether you want to make a patch, or a whole pillow like I've done. And the pattern is by, sorry, I have my little notebook here with the names of everything written down. Sixel Designs, and this was a mosaic crochet skull pattern. For anyone who knows me, I'm absolutely obsessed with skulls. Skulls are everything to me. I love them. If you couldn't tell by the few project bags I've opened so far. So I have the front panel done, and now it's actually showing up really well on camera. I actually screwed up the jawline of the bottom row of skulls, and then I just kind of like almost embroidered over it to fix it, because I didn't notice I messed up until I was like, I think 15 rows in, and I was like, actually I don't think I noticed I messed up until I was on the jaw portion for the second row of skulls, and I was like, I'm not redoing it, it's fine, I'll figure it out. Worst case, it's the bottom row of skulls. It's on the bottom of the pillow. You won't really be able to see it. But yeah, so this is the front panel. And then I had enough of the cream colored yarn. It's called Cottonwood. Oh, this is also High Desert Yarn by Knit Picks. This yarn is really nice. And I wouldn't say that, I mean, they let me try it out for free, but like if I didn't like it, I wouldn't say that I liked it. I'm not that kind of person. I wouldn't be like, oh, this yarn sucks. But like, I wouldn't promote it as much as I have been if I didn't really like it. I mean, obviously I'm using it for 2 different projects. It's really nice, and it's surprisingly soft for 100% wool. I don't usually go for 100% wool just because when I think of 100% wool, I just think itchy. And it's not itchy. Like, it's to use, but if you watch Bag O' Day crochet, her term's scarfable. Like, it's soft, like, it's no itchy. So, I used just the plain cottonwood to make the back panel. I just did like alternating rows of single crochet and double crochet just to give it some texture. And I'm just waiting on a pillow insert to come from Amazon to, slip stitch these together around the pillow insert, and that will be done. How cool is this project bag? As soon as I saw this on Etsy, I was just like, I need it. So, that's one crochet whip down. Here's another. This is a test I'm doing. It is for Poppy Joko, and it is her Skyline wrap. So, trying to not get it all tangled. I'm not there far yet. So far I've done the first solid section, the first lace section, and I'm almost done the second solid section, and we'll be moving into the next lace section. So for this, I am using Little Treasures by Loops and Threads. It's a yarn I picked up at Michael's recently. They were having a sale. They were having their, buy 2 get 1 free sale, and this yarn is so nice. I'm sorry I didn't buy more. And I saw on their website that they still have it, and I'm contemplating buying more just because it's so soft and it's so nice to work with. Like, it works up really well. So yeah, I'm really liking it. The colors, I think it's technically intended for knitting because the swatch they had was knitted, and when you knit it up, it has like a specific, like almost like Fair Isle pattern. So that's not coming out exactly when you crochet it, it's just kind of coming out more blob-like. But it's still really nice. I really like it. You can kind of see in this stripy section more, this is kind of like what the knit swatch looked like. Like, it was rows of stripes, speckles, stripes, stripes, speckles, stripe, stripe. So yeah, I'm liking it. I think this is going to be a really fun, like, spring wrap. Good for that, transition between, sort of winter into spring. You want something a little bit lighter. Plus I really liked this yarn, so that was so bright and fun for spring. So yeah, that is a test I am doing, which I also design patterns. I think I go through phases. Sometimes I design more, sometimes I just knit other people's patterns. Lately I have been doing a few tests for people. It kind of depends what I'm in the mood for. If I'm in a creative mood, I design. If I'm, wanting to try something new, I test. And if I want to, try something that, the pattern's been tested, it's going to work, then I make someone else's pattern. So yeah, those are my 3 whips. I forgot to grab my finished objects. Alright, so next up is my finished objects that I'm So, like I said, I've been doing tons of sock knitting. I'm just absolutely obsessed with sock knitting, and I have designed a few pairs of socks. One is already out. Those are called the Sunday socks. I'll leave the link to my Ravelry and Etsy down below. And I have a second pair of socks coming out that are a pretty, I would say, beginner-friendly colorwork sock. Sorry, they are covered in cat hair because I've worn them and I forgot to wash them last night, and did not want to delay filming this just because I hadn't washed the socks. So, this is real life. Okay, so really I just want to show you the colorwork section. So it's pretty easy, beginner friendly. It's a cuff down with a heel flap and gusset, and then just your standard toe. I used, for the black, I used Knit Picks palette yarn, which is super budget friendly, like crazy budget friendly. And then for the colorwork sections, I used Knit Picks Stroll, but I used a bearskin that I dyed myself. So yeah, they're kind of like colorful, unique skein. So the pattern for these is going to be out May 10th, which when I'm filming this is tomorrow. Will this video be up before tomorrow? I don't know. It might be. It depends how frustrating editing goes today. So, sorry, I need to grab a drink. This is a lot of talking for me. Do you like my giant water bottle? I got it on Amazon. I get everything on Amazon. I'm obsessed with Amazon. So, yes. Up in the description, I'm going to assume this video will not be out before this pattern tomorrow, so I will put the link to these in the description box. So yeah, go check them out if you're looking for a easy, beginner-friendly colorwork sock. Like, these are not, it's not difficult. If you are new to colorwork, you can knit these. So yeah, that's one. My other finished object, well, technically it's not fully finished, it's like 99% finished because I have not woven in any of the ends because I hate weaving in ends. Does anyone want to come weave in my ends for me? So this is, okay, this is massive. I don't even know how I'm going to show this. This is the Triforce Fade Shawl by Perfectly Knotted. Let's wrap it around. There we go. So, this guy is a beast. Sorry, I have to weave my ends. This is made using all Knit Picks yarn. So this one, this pinkish color, I dyed myself. The turquoise one I dyed myself. This was on their Hawthorn base. This was on their Felici base. And then this one is by them. It's one of their Muse. I think it was called Enthusiasm Speckle. Wow, my voice just went very high there. Enthusiasm Speckle. And so this is a great pattern if you're looking to use up 3 skeins of fingering weight yarn. It's a fade that has some like lacy eyelet detail on the end. So yeah, this guy is huge. It's great for, just wrap yourself up in when you're chilly. This is going to be great for fall. I'm looking forward to wearing this come the fall. Hopefully I will have weaved in my ends by then, but who knows. So yeah, those are my 2 most recent finished objects. I haven't, this took me a while. This took me a long time to knit. And then I did a few sock tests, and then I've just been fiddling with yarn, trying to make a design work that is just not working. For anyone who has tried to design a pattern, have you ever just had one that's like in your head it looks beautiful, and you go and try and make it, and you're like, why isn't this working? I don't understand. This was gorgeous in my head. This worked perfectly. So yeah, I've been playing around with these 3 skeins of yarn that I bought, trying to make them work, and they're not working. So I'm going to scrap that. That design and yarn is in timeout. It's not working. So right now, really the only ongoing whip I have is the test, which won't take me that much longer. I'm, almost at the middle section. I worked on this in like 2 sittings. And then the Felix cardigan, I have to try and figure out the second sleeve. I know I'm going to knit my husband the Gigi cardi by Knititude. So I have to take his measurements for that later, because I have some Lion Brown Pound of Love that I'm going to use for it. I looked through the Ravelry projects for that, and a lot of people use Pound of Love, and I was like, listen, it's not that I don't want you to have a nice handmade sweater made out of fancy hand-dyed yarn, but like, you're a boy, and you're gonna forget and put it in the washer and dryer and ruin it if I make it out of nice hand-dyed yarn. And he was like, yeah, do not make it out of nice yarn. So I'm gonna use some nice sturdy acrylic Lion brand Pound of Love that can go in the washer and dryer. And then, so something else that I'm wanting to cast on, I'm like, oh, do I really need to cast on another big project right now? But like, I'm just so excited to try it. I'm probably not going to try it tonight, but I may start tomorrow. Is I want to make the, oh my god, I keep forgetting the name. I want to call it the Rose Sweater, but that's not the name of it. Geez, I'm gonna have to look this up. Garden and something. It's by Max the Knitter, so it's the one with the color work yoke with the roses. What's it called? Winsome Floral. That's it. I just keep calling it the Rose Sweater. So, for that, I currently have a poll going on my Instagram, which again, poll will probably be over with by the time I put this up. But, so, for anyone who hasn't seen it, I will try and insert a picture here, if I can figure out how to do that. But I'm going to make the main color out of this Feisty Fibers yarn. It's kind of like this deep red. It is called Tempted. And then what the poll on my Instagram is for is, so in the pattern there's like the main color, and then there's kind of like a background behind the roses. And I can't decide which color to make the background and which color to make the roses. Because I was a little worried that putting the green against the red would make it too Christmassy. But so far the poll on my Instagram is like, like 90% green is the background, the golden color is the roses. And I think I'm going to do that just because I feel like green roses are going to look a little funny as compared to yellow roses. And I've had some people comment being like, I didn't immediately think of Christmassy when I saw the 3 together. So, yeah. These are hopefully going to be I forgot the name already, Jesus. The Rose, I'm just going to nickname it the Rose Sweater. Rose Cardigan, that's the one by Andrea Mowry. The whatever in floral, Winsome Floral. It'll hopefully, by the time I finish knitting the sweater, I'll remember the name. So yeah, The Sweater with the Flowers by Max the Knitter. So yeah, that's pretty much all of my whips, upcoming whips, finished objects. I don't currently have any new yarn purchases, but I do have some exciting yarn on the way. I managed to snag some yarn from the Sorella Oopsie sale. I didn't get exactly what I wanted, but I did get some DK nylon blend. So I got 2 4-packs, and that shipped yesterday, so that's exciting. And I also ordered, oh yes, I'm also waiting on my, if you've ever heard of Row 1 Yarns, the Carnival of Color, every month you get 10 10-gram minis that are from a different dyer. Like not all 10 from a different dyer, but it's like each month has a different dyer, and you get 10 different minis of, selection of their colorways. And it's a great way to find a new dyer, try out different yarns, and then also just have minis, for sock knitting or little bits of color work, things like that. Sorry, I need another drink. So yeah, I'm waiting on May's subscription bag to arrive. That should arrive soon. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope this wasn't too all over the place for you. I hope you enjoyed it. Hoping to keep these relatively short. I don't want them to be too long. Just little quick check-ins, this is what I'm working on, this is what I finished, blah blah blah. So yeah, if you have any comments, I will try and figure out this weird lighting issue. Please let me know what the volume is like. If you have any constructive criticism, please leave it in the comments. And if you liked this video and are looking forward to the next one, if you're looking forward to seeing which color becomes the roses, hit the subscribe button for more. And yeah, like I said, hopefully planning to make these, as much as I want to say bi-weekly, it's probably going to be monthly. But yeah, so I will leave all of my links down in the description bar, and thanks for watching.